What's up guys, it is Chris back with another watch video, and today I have something very interesting, something very different, something very weird. This is Lima watches. This is the mechanical series, the MECA02. There was a Mecha 1 that actually sold out. This is the Mecha 2. They actually recently came out with the Mecha 3. It's just a different colorway. They're pretty much all the same watches, and you can see this is the Space-Time Blaster right here on the front of the box. This watch is heavily inspired by vintage toys from the 19th century. This is an automatic watch, as I mentioned, a mechanical watch. It has an NH35 movement in it. So what they've done here is they've made a watch that looks like vintage toys. They've made a watch that you can actually wind with a key. So I'll show you that in a second. So outer box, cardboard, inner box, also cardboard in red. It has that Lima MECA logo right there, and then inside the box you get the key, as you can see right here. It's sort of in a bronze color, and then of course you get a watch. Now, as I mentioned, this is an automatic watch, and it is powered by the NH35. So here is the watch. Lima actually sent me this watch to keep. I do not need to return it, so please keep that in mind for this review. So you could see the dial is very heavily inspired by vintage toys, sort of like a cream color. It has blue and red on it, and it also has sort of a step in the dial. It's kind of hard to see on film, but there is a central area which has minutes. Then there's an outer track which has hours. There is blue and red, and then the entire dial is sort of a cream enamel. The case itself is 38.5 millimeters is what I measured. They say it's 39 millimeters, 44 millimeter lug to lug, and then I get about 12.5 millimeters thick. That's including the domed mineral crystal on here. The crown is also in the same color, sort of a bronze color, as the actual key, and the key is essentially an Allen key. You could fit it right into the crown itself and wind the watch like you would a vintage toy from the 19th century, one of those robots that when you wound it up, it would actually walk, or the teeth would chatter, or things like that. So you could wind up your NH35, which is inside your watch, with this key. However, if you don't want to use the key, you could use the actual crown itself. It's not completely useless, but it's not the best tactical feel because it is pretty small, and of course it is not knurled at all. So actually using the crown without the key isn't hard, but it just doesn't feel great, that's all. The case itself is sort of interesting. It's very slab-sided, as you can see. The case itself from its profile is just flat. It is all brushed on the top and the bottom. So the bottom of the case is actually just brushed and it is completely flat, and so is the top of the case. And then you have that domed mineral crystal. The case back, obviously you can see the NH35. You still have that, again, you have that blaster, and it says MECA 2 there, MECA 2. And then the rotor is actually signed Lima. You have a screwed-in case back on here, and just some of the information of the watch on the case back itself. The strap is a leather strap. It's cav. It's sort of a natural brownish color. Feels really good, very soft, and also vintage inspired. You have some vintage cream stitching, which obviously matches that dial. And then the buckle is also signed Lima. It's a nice little buckle. I think it's actually milled. It's brushed. Looks pretty good. Nothing too crazy, but really the price doesn't warrant anything too crazy anyway. It's $275 for this watch. And it takes a lot of inspiration, as I mentioned, from 19th century toys, which you would actually wind with a key. There's not many watches out here that do things like this, and it is definitely a gimmick. However, $275 is not a incredible amount of money for a watch, so I think that's the reason why they went for this sort of gimmick and kind of style of this watch, and it definitely is very interesting. As I mentioned, it wears larger. It says 39 millimeters on their website. It's 38.5 millimeters, but because of its case shape, it does wear larger. I'm going to throw it on my wrist so you guys can see. There is no lume, so we won't be doing a lume shot. The hands on here are sort of skeletonized, which is actually really nice. And then you just have the second hand, which is like in an orange color. The logo there at the 12 o'clock in red looks really sharp as well. So very quickly, I'm going to throw it on my wrist. I am wearing my IWC Ingenieur today, a very large watch. This is 46 millimeters, so wears very large. This watch actually does wear larger than its said dimension of 39 millimeters. I actually measured it at 38 millimeters, as I mentioned, just above 38 millimeters. The strap is very, very soft, very comfortable. The watch in general is very, very comfortable. But as you can see, it does wear and looks like a vintage toy on your wrist, especially if you're going to use this key to actually wind the watch and set the clock. You cannot leave the key in the crown. Obviously, that would not make sense because you would probably bend it in about 4 seconds and destroy the watch. But there you go. I think it looks very, very interesting. It's a very interesting look for a watch. And if you like the look of this case, then you will like this watch. The dial is absolutely beautiful. You also get that date at the 5 o'clock, very thoughtfully put at the 5 o'clock. It replaces the 5 o'clock indice. It's not color matched. I probably would have liked it color matched because of the style of this dial, or maybe no date whatsoever. Again, I always say that, but it looks very interesting because it actually replaces the 5 o'clock indice, and it's very, very clean. I like the idea behind it. I also do like the case back. Usually I don't like the NH35 to see the NH35. It doesn't matter to me to see it one way or another, but I do like the little blaster that they put on here. It doesn't look bad. And it's visually a little bit more appealing than just having a signed rotor on here, which is what they've done also. So they've gone the extra mile. They've put a couple of extra details in the back. Quirky, fun watch, $275. This one is currently available, and I believe there's one other colorway that they have, the MECA02, that is also available on their website. I will put a link to their website in the description below. However, I really do think it's a little interesting watch, and especially for the price. I don't think it is a bad price at all. $275 for an automatic NH35 powered watch. Really not that bad. But anyway, tell me what you guys think in the comments below. I always want to hear from you guys. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. It's super helpful for the channel, and I very much appreciate it. Anyway, thank you for logging on. I'll catch you guys